Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Personal Growth Talks podcast, where we share practical tips to help you grow and succeed in life. I'm Jason, your host, and today we're diving into a topic that's so important for students and learners alike: how to stay focused while studying.
Hey everyone, I'm Julia, your co host. Jason, staying focused is such a big challenge these days, isn't it? With smartphones, social media, and endless distractions, it can feel almost impossible to concentrate on studying.
Absolutely, Julia. You're right. I mean, have you ever sat down to study and then suddenly realized you've been scrolling on your phone for an hour?
Oh, definitely. And I think so many people can relate to that. It's like we want to focus, but there are just so many things pulling our attention away.
Exactly. And that's why today's episode is so important. Whether you're preparing for exams, trying to learn a new skill, or even working on a project, staying focused can make all the difference in how productive and successful you are.
And don't worry, everyone. We're not just going to talk about the problem. We're also going to share some super practical tips that you can start using right away.
That's right. By the end of this episode, you'll have a toolbox of strategies to help you eliminate distractions, stay motivated, and get the most out of your study sessions.
I can't wait to dive in. So, let's get started. Jason, why don't we first talk about why staying focused is so important?
All right, so before we dive into the tips, let's talk about why focus is so important when you're studying. Julia, in your opinion, what's the biggest benefit of staying focused?
For me, staying focused means getting things done faster and better. When your mind isn't jumping between tasks, you can actually absorb information more effectively. It's like driving on a straight road instead of one with constant detours. You reach your destination faster.
That's a great analogy, Julia. I'd add that being focused also helps reduce stress. Think about it. When you're fully immersed in studying, you feel more in control. On the other hand, distractions can leave you feeling frustrated and overwhelmed because you're not making the progress you want.
So true. And let's not forget, focus isn't just about finishing something quickly. It's about understanding what you're studying. If your mind keeps wandering, it's like reading the same page of a book 10 times and still not remembering what it said.
Exactly. And focus is a skill that builds over time. The more you practice it, the better you get. That's why it's so important to recognize the value of focus and work on strengthening it.
Totally agree. And here's the good news. No matter how distracted you might feel right now, there are ways to improve. That's what we're here to help with today.
That's right. So, now that we understand why focus is so important, let's move on to the actionable part: how to stay focused while studying. All right, let's dive into the tips. The first tip is to set clear goals before you start studying. When you sit down, ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish today? Having a specific target helps you stay on track.
That's a great one, Jason. I like to break big goals into smaller tasks. For example, instead of saying, I'll study math for 2 hours, I might say, I'll solve 5 algebra problems. It feels less overwhelming and keeps me focused.
Exactly. Breaking tasks into smaller chunks makes it manageable. Now, the second tip is to create a distraction-free study environment. Turn off notifications, put your phone in another room, and make sure your study area is clean and organized.
Yes, a cluttered desk equals a cluttered mind. I also recommend letting people around you know that you need some quiet time. Just a quick, hey, I'm studying right now, can go a long way in avoiding interruptions.
Great point, Julia. Moving on to tip number 3. Use the Pomodoro technique. This is where you study for 25 minutes. Take a 5-minute break and then repeat. It keeps your mind fresh and prevents burnout.
I love the Pomodoro technique. It's amazing how much you can accomplish when you focus in short bursts. During those 5-minute breaks, I like to stretch or grab some water. It helps me reset.
That's a good idea. Now, tip 4 is to prioritize your tasks and use a planner. When you have a lot to do, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. Writing things down and tackling them one by one makes everything feel more manageable.
Definitely. And it's satisfying to check things off your list. I sometimes use color-coded planners to make it more fun and keep track of different subjects or topics.
That's a creative touch, Julia. And here's a bonus tip. Reward yourself. After finishing a tough study session, treat yourself to something you enjoy, like watching an episode of your favorite show or eating a snack.
That's so true. Rewards can be a great motivator. Just make sure the reward doesn't distract you for too long. One episode, not the whole season.
Exactly. Balance is key. So, to recap, set clear goals, create a distraction-free environment, use the Pomodoro technique, prioritize tasks, and reward yourself. Simple, right?
Yes, and with practice, these tips will become habits. Once you master them, you'll find it much easier to stay focused and productive while studying.
Now that we've shared some practical tips, let's talk about encouragement. Staying focused while studying isn't always easy, but remember, it's a skill, and like any skill, it improves with practice.
That's so true, Jason. It's completely normal to feel distracted sometimes, especially when you're just starting out. The key is to be patient with yourself and keep trying. Even small steps, like setting one goal or studying for just 15 minutes, can make a big difference.
Absolutely. And don't let one bad day discourage you. It's okay to have setbacks. It happens to everyone. What matters is that you keep going. Focus is like a muscle. The more you work on it, the stronger it gets.
Yes. And remember, every time you overcome a distraction, you're building your ability to concentrate. Celebrate those little wins. Even if you study for just an hour without distractions, that's a success worth acknowledging.
Exactly. So, if you're listening right now and feeling overwhelmed, take a deep breath. You've got this. Just start with one tip we shared today and build from there.
And don't forget, you're not alone. Everyone faces challenges with focus, but with determination and the right strategies, you can overcome them and achieve your goals.
That's right, Julia. Keep believing in yourself and your ability to grow. You're capable of more than you realize. Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode on how to stay focused while studying. Let's quickly recap the key tips we shared. Set clear goals. Create a distraction-free environment. Use the Pomodoro technique. Prioritize your tasks. And don't forget to reward yourself.
And remember, staying focused is a skill that takes time and practice. Be patient with yourself and celebrate the small wins along the way.
We hope you found these tips helpful and are ready to apply them in your own study sessions. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe to the Personal Growth Talks podcast for more practical advice and inspiring conversations.
And we'd love to hear from you. What's your favorite tip for staying focused? Or do you have a strategy of your own? Let us know in the comments or reach out to us on social media.
Thanks so much for tuning in today. Keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone. Stay focused and take care.